Hope you're doing well. As for me, I'm having an okay day. It was another day off, so it was peaceful. But I was thinking about something that happened to me yesterday that was kind of disturbing that I sort of wanted to share my experience and see if anyone here ever experienced the same situation I went through. And maybe we could just talk and have some open dialogue about it. And I would be really interested to hear how you deal with similar situations because it was one of those things where the situation happened to me and I took it as some self reflection and did some of my old patterns, which was to blame myself and overthink a situation. I'll explain it to you and then we can go from there. Basically, I'm a very friendly person. It's very hard for me not to meet a person and not want to engage in conversation with them. Secretly, I think I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. Secretly, I was a very shy person. And I think sometimes when people are shy, they overcompensate by being loud and boisterous. And I think that was very much my case when I was young. I was a very shy person, and when I tell people that, they find it a little hard to believe because I give off the appearance of being someone outgoing and talkative. But I think sometimes that's just a way to like deal with the situation at hand when you get a little overwhelmed when you're around people that you're not familiar with. I always felt it was better to just be a little more boisterous and just come in and say, "Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome, everyone," and draw attention to myself rather than wait for attention to be drawn to me. I always felt it was a better coping mechanism for myself. So, actuality, for the most of the beginning of my life, I was a quite shy person. I'm not a shy person anymore. Um, I think having this YouTube channel has shown me that I'm not a very shy person. I'm very open with my feelings and I'm willing to share them, even if people don't agree. I feel like it's my channel, it's my point of view, and I'm eager to share my feelings and my opinions and welcome open discussions. But I had a situation happen to me yesterday, and it made me question if maybe my personality of being outgoing was to blame for the situation at hand. Let me explain. Yesterday, when I was at work, there was a gentleman there, and something had happened outside of my work, and there were police, and people were watching as the police had a gentleman pulled over. And naturally, that brings out people's curiosities. I myself have always prided myself as not being one of these nosy people that look when the police come because I have been pulled over myself and I think it's so embarrassing. So I always tell myself when I see people pulled over, I try not to look because I know how awkward that is. And so I try to give people their privacy. But at any rate, it was just a young person. I think they got pulled over for smoking some weed. The police did a check of their car, made them stomp out their blunt, and then let them go on their merry way. And so I was standing there next to this gentleman, and we were having a small conversation, and when we were conversing with each other, and I had mentioned to the gentleman, I'm really glad they let the young guy go with just a warning and that I was glad he didn't, he was dressed in like hospital scrubs, so I think he had like an important job. I was glad that didn't get in any trouble. So just making a little bit of small talk, and the gentleman was talking to me and agreeing that he was glad the person didn't get in any trouble either, and we had a little small exchange of words. He had explained to me that he received a medical marijuana card, that he had some back pain and some injuries from a fall, and that he had been in a coma. And that intrigued me. And I had asked him how long he had been in a coma, and he had told me for 11 days. And the curiosity got the best of me, and I had asked him if he remembered anything from his coma, and he had told me, in fact, that he did, and that he had an experience where God spoke with him. Well, he explained it that the Son spoke to him, and since the Son can't speak, that it had to have been the the Holy Spirit. And I thought it was an intriguing interaction, and I told him, thank you for sharing your testimony. It was really interesting. And I went on with my merry way, and I went into work. Well, the gentleman was in my work with me, and every time I would pass him, he would smile at me. And then I noticed him staring at me a lot. And then I heard him talking loud enough for me to hear, but under his breath. And he kept saying sexy every time I walked by. Now, I myself do not find myself sexy in the least bit. So I wasn't 100% sure if he was directing that towards me, or if he was just, who knows, people these days, they talk on their phones, you can't see the earbuds, and you think they're talking to themselves, but they're really speaking to someone else. So anyway, he had dropped some items of clothing, and as I was walking by, I picked them up and I handed it to him. And he said to me, that was really kind of you. I think I should give you a kiss. And I kind of smiled, and I said, oh, no problem. And I walked away. And I was thinking right then and there, I really didn't appreciate that. But I let it pass, and I didn't think much more of it. And so I went on with my work, and I noticed that he kept staring at me, and it was immediately making me feel uncomfortable. And a friend of mine came in to visit me at work, and the gentleman was still there, and every time I walked by him, I noticed him looking at me. So I tried to avoid him, but did it politely. And then there was an incident where he was getting ready to leave, and it's my job to ask people if they needed any help or how their experience was. And I had said, are you all done for the day? And he said, yes, I'm about to go. And then he pointed to me and asked me to come here with his finger. And when I came closer, he said, I'm sorry I have to leave because I would rather just stay here and look at you. When I look at you, it makes me want to kiss you. I just want to kiss you so bad. And I was very uncomfortable. I didn't say anything to him. I think mostly because I was in a work situation and I didn't want to get defensive. And I was also put on the spot. And it also made me revert to abuse that I had received in the past. And it made me very uncomfortable. I felt very exposed. It was almost like I was looking at myself to see what I was wearing, to see if there was something I was doing that was making him think that it was okay for him to speak to me like that. And it made me very uncomfortable. So my friend was visiting me for a little bit, and she decided that she had to leave. And I asked her if she could stay until the gentleman left. And I explained to her that he was making me uncomfortable. But I couldn't really elaborate what was going on. So she stayed, and we happened to see a bug in my work. And we were both trying to shoo it out without having to kill it. And I was not having any luck doing it. Every time I tried to shoo the bug, it would come in closer and closer. And the gentleman saw me doing it. And he pointed at me, and he saw my friend and I both trying to get rid of the bug. I was going to try to shoo it out. My friend was going to try to kill it. I didn't have the heart to kill it. And so he pointed at me and he said, I'll kill that bug for you, baby. And he came and he got the bug and made it go away. And I thanked him, and he kept staring at me still. And then he finally left. I tried to give him all the cues, letting him know, I don't think my husband would appreciate you giving me a kiss. I tried to keep my distance and let him know that I was not interested without being rude or coming right out and saying, look, I didn't appreciate the way you were making me feel. And it really bothered me. It stuck with me. In fact, when I came home, I told Mike about it. And Mike was questioning me about it, asking me if the person was drunk. And I said, no, he was sober. And he said, I don't understand why he was coming on to you like that, saying that he wanted to kiss you. And I found myself actually saying, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I'm too friendly. And Mike said, no, you didn't do anything wrong. And I remember when the gentleman left, I was telling my girlfriend, he seemed like a nice enough guy. And I'm really sorry that I even engaged in conversation with him, because I think I gave him the impression that it was okay for him to talk to me like that. And my girlfriend said, oh no, you gave him no indications that that was okay. He should not have been talking to you like that. And you know what? They were right. And I realized they were right. You see, being kind does not give invitation for people to come on to you. And maybe what he said wasn't disgusting, but it crossed the line. It crossed my line. It was over-friendly and unwanted, unsolicited attention. And it's not okay. And I don't think that men sometimes mean to do the things that they do when they say those things, or women when they say those things to men or women. But I think some do. I think we have to respect the line. We have to be mindful how we come across. He may have had the best of intentions, but I somehow doubt it. Because telling a total stranger how much you want to kiss them has crossed a line. And I'm here to tell you it's not okay to cross a line. And maybe in hindsight I should have said something. Maybe I should have stuck up for myself. But I think I handled it the best way I knew how. And it's strange because it triggered all these past traumas. And I'm not going to lie, it sat with me last night. Even though I made a video and I was in a good place and I was happy and smiling, it stuck with me. I felt the shame. I felt the blame. But I had to have a long talk with myself and wrote down in my journal, this was not my fault, because all the voices in the past from my stepfather, having the audacity to tell my mother that I asked for the rape, that I asked to be touched, all of those things stuck with me. It gave me a complex. It made me feel like I was doing something to warrant that kind of attention. And I wasn't. I was just simply being me. And if simply being me leaves me open to that kind of attention and that kind of response from people, that problem's not on me. That problem's on them. So I'm just here to tell you, don't blame yourself when things like this happen. Be proactive. Put measures in place to let people know that when they cross a line, it's not okay. Speak your truth. Keep your head up. But don't change. Don't hide your light under a bushel for anyone. There's nothing wrong with being an outgoing person and being polite and being open and being friendly. It's not an invitation to unsolicited comments or attention. I was just simply being me, and there's nothing wrong with that. That gentleman crossed the line, not me. And if someone crosses a line with you, it's not on you, it's on them. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. And if you've ever experienced anything like that, I welcome you to share your comments in your situations in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you handled it. And I hope that you didn't hold on to it and think that it was anything you did like I did yesterday. Even if just for a split second I did blame myself. At least I was able to grab on and know, and I had people around me that loved me to tell me it wasn't me, it was him. And he was wrong. And it's not just a Me Too movement. It's a respect yourself and demand respect from others movement. So that's all I have to say tonight. I hope this video meets you well. I hope it didn't trigger anyone. And if you by chance are watching this and you're guilty of doing some of those things, of crossing the line, please stop. Please just take a moment and think about how you act and how it is being perceived by others. It just takes a moment to edit yourself. Most of us don't want to do anything to make someone feel uncomfortable. But there are some that don't care. And it's up to us to set our own boundaries and to let people know it's not cool. You're going to respect me. It's not okay to think of me as an object. I'm a person. And I respect myself. And I demand respect in return. Until I talk to you again, take care.